Hello everyone. Today we're going to make this card. Look how cute it is. Can't believe how cute it is. And this is the inside. Love it, love it, love it. So the bits and pieces of this card were made using the Perfectly Preserved stamp set, which looks like this. Love it. And you can get this from the Holiday Catalog, also known as the Holiday Mini. And it also uses the dies from the framelits from the cannery set. Here are three of the pieces. There's corn, a pear, and a flower framelit. And then I'm actually going to show you the other thing. Alright, so we're using a piece of Cajun Craze, which is cut at 4 by 8 and scored at 4. A piece of the Harvest DSP, which is from the new Holiday Catalog, and I've already done some stuff to this. This is cut at 2 3/8 by 4, and I've already started the stitching using the Uni-ball Gel Pen, and I corner rounded these two corners, so just two corners. Alright, also we're going to use a piece of Gumball Green cardstock, and that is cut at 4 inches in length, and then I used the dotted scallop ribbon border punch, which looks like this. To do that, using a piece of Whisper White, I stamped down the Just For You in the Gumball Green ink from that Perfectly Preserved stamp set, and I will cut that out using the Itty Bitty Banners framelit in a moment. We are using 2 little green brads from the Brights collection, and one of the new items from the Holiday Catalog, which is a ribbon slider. Oh, I love these things. Alright, also a piece of Daffodil Delight Grosgrain ribbon is cut at 4 1/2, and then I just went ahead and did the little flag cut right here. So I've got them set already. I used the mason jar and I stamped it down, and I also used the flower from that set, and you'll see in a moment what I used. I've set it all up, and we're going to just crank it through, cut all these pieces out. And see what these look like. Alright, so I used the lid from the cannery set, cannery framelits. Looks like that. So cute. Oh, also you'll be using a piece of twine. I used one of the Adorning Accents Edgelits and the Orchard Harvest DSP, and I just cut this to 4 inches. When you cut it out, it's about 3/4 of an inch, and then when you die cut it, it's about 5/8 of an inch. Next piece is stem and leaf piece. That's the die, and here's the stem. And I actually stamped this in the summer Starfruit. I stamped that in the summer Starfruit. Now what I did with this is I stamped the mason jar down in basic black ink using the flower, which it looks like this. Like that. From that Perfectly Preserved stamp set. I colored the stamp, or I actually stamped the image in so saffron, and then I colored in the little round part in the center using Gumball Green, the Stampin' Right marker. Alright, and then I just stamped it down a couple of times, 5 times to be exact. And I punched that out using the mason jar framelit from the cannery set. Alright, and then the final piece, using the Gumball Green, I stamped the apple image down and cut it out with the framelit from the cannery set. And then I colored these little seeds in using the early Espresso Stampin' Right marker, so you can see that. Okay, and so I took one of these, I think it's like a ribbon punch or something like that. I don't know how well you can see it, but there's like a little line right there. Maybe you can see that's what it'll look like. So like that. That way you can tuck your ribbon through the fold, the score line. So using the Uni-ball gel pen, we're just going to do the final stitches, or I'm just going to do the final stitches. Get this off the side. There we go. I just go freehand. Hopefully. Okay. So I like to have some of my dots, or my dot and my scallop showing. So I'm just going to eyeball it and line it up as best I can. Perfect. Just press it down. Alright, and then making sure you don't get any of your adhesive on those the showing dots. You just want to go kind of close to that part. And again, eyeballing it. Alright. Perfect! Love it! Alright. And I'm going to go ahead and adhere this piece to the card. Alright, so now I like the scallops to be off the edge of the Cajun Craze base of the card. Alright, and you'll see it's just like that on the back. So you'll just take it up one end, from the bottom up to the top, and then from the top down through the bottom. Alright, and kind of just figure out how you want it placed. To keep it in place is I take a glue dot and put it on the back of the slider. And just press it down. And then you're going to take this part and slide it through that little ribbon hole, like that. Alright, now what I did with this one is I hid it behind this a little bit, so I took a glue dot and, but take it on the backs, or so it's on the inside of the card where everything else, and kind of hide it, because I think it looks a little wonky up here. So you'll just adhere it however you want down here, and then put everything on. I'm going to take my banner, and I'm going to do the sponging with the pumpkin pie. Just a little. You want it just to be very subtle. And you want it a little bit more on the little corners, but real subtle throughout the rest of it. Alright, now I'm going to just rough this up a little bit with my fingers. Kind of pull up the corner, or the ends. Pull the corners up a little bit towards you, and rough up, or kind of bend the center away from you over your finger, so that you have that dimension like that. Using my paper piercer and the mat, and my little green Brights collection brads, I'm going to find the position that I want it. Alright, so give it a little poke. And I like to position the one brad first, because I feel like that'll hold it a little more steady for when I want to position the other brad. Alright, then figure out how much bunch you want for that flag, how much dimension. And poke. Okay. Now taking the apple and the leaf, I use a little bit of two-way glue pen, and I just put a little dot of it on the on the back of the apple, right where it kind of divots in just a little bit. I position that leaf how I want it. You're going to take 2 dimensionals. Put one there. One there. This will help hold the ribbon straight if it's a little wonky. Now, this is the part that's a little tricky, and I will probably edit the heck out of this. I'm actually going to take a dimensional and put it on the back of the lid. Alright, and I want the twine below the dimensional so that it holds it around the sides. Alright, and you're going to wrap it twice. So take it. And the good thing about the twine is that it's so thick that it bends a little bit. So just kind of give it a squeeze and it'll kind of bend, so it will help hold it a little bit while you're working with it. Alright, so give it, don't pull it too tight because it will bend the paper, fold the paper in. It may help to hold your fingers on the back and kind of hold that steady. And there you go. Then you're going to take your, take that and adhere it to the mason jar. Alright, center it where you want it. Alright, so to tell you really quick, while I still have you, what I did with the inside, I used the Edgelits, Adorning Accents Edgelits and the Orchard Harvest paper, and I just made little strips, and you can kind of see it, they overlap, which is why I chose to cover them with some of the dies that I cut out. Alright, and what I used for this Whisper White piece right here is the Bigz Scallop Squares Duo. So you can barely see it, but there's this size scallop square, and then there's this size scallop square. And I used this one to cut out the Whisper White piece. And I just left it blank, because you can write in it, you can say thank you can say happy birthday, whatever you want. So the difference between these two is that I corner rounded these corners. This one I just left them like that. And I kind of like both of them, either or. So that's it. I hope you all had fun. I enjoyed it. And until next time, happy stamping!